we agreed to allocate $45,000 for bundled billing for the EMS. Our seniors are a valuable resource to our community. They don't ask for much when it comes to city services, and the taxes they pay go a long way to funding the school budget. Making sure they don't need to worry about the cost of an ambulance ride to the hospital seems like a good way to help them when they need it the most. We should ask Echo Hose to continue sharing this expense, and if they do, a reduction to $40,000 should be adequate. Our volunteer firefighters are heroes. They have an active training program to ensure they meet or exceed all professional standards. They leave their homes and families at all hours to risk their lives to save people and property. We need to do what we can to help them stay safe while they do this work they volunteer for. Their efforts save taxpayers' lives and millions of dollars each year. We agree they need more turnout gear. It was a budget request. Considering how tight this budget is, and the fact that we're already planning to bond to purchase 70 sets, we're asking the Board of Aldermen to increase that purchase to cover at least 75 sets. A firefighter without turnout gear can't go into a burning building. They asked us to restore $15,000 for the alarm system maintenance account. This will increase the reliability of the system that notifies them of a fire. The upgrade will allow us to reduce our telephone expenses by $1,000 a month. It's like buying an annuity because the savings will continue. The fire department needs to replace some radios. They can get ones that will work with the system that we currently have and the higher band frequency we'll have when we can upgrade the system later. It's a $33,000 expense that we feel is necessary. We viewed these items as issues that could be matters of life and death. The next department that we discussed was the Board of Education. As you know, the only control the city has over the Board of Education budget is the bottom line dollar amount. How the funds will be allocated is entirely up to the Board of Education. Charlotte Madar, Chris Besicek, and I were opposed to increasing the Board of Education budget by any amount that would require a tax increase or hurt our AA bond rating. We offered a $50,000 increase beyond what the mayor proposed. We intended to fund it with spending reductions on the city side of the budget. That was every dollar we thought we could find. Judd Crawford, Faith Hack, and Jay Sakaris felt a tax increase or drawing down a significant portion of our fund balance to fund the Board of Education was necessary to maintain standards. They offered a variety of proposals to increase the budget by between $2 and $2.75 million, with those being covered by either increases in taxes or drawing down the fund balance. A compromise could not be reached. The problem with drawing down the fund balance is bond rating. The agencies want to see a reserve of at least 5% of the entire city budget, and more helps us to qualify for lower interest rates. The proposed reductions would have put us below 5%. The other problem is it would be like draining our savings account to pay current bills without reducing expenses to a level that our revenue will support. Next time the bill comes due, we wouldn't have that money in the bank and we'd still have to find a way to pay the bill. The problem with the tax increase is while some people are still doing great, a lot of people are out of work or they're earning less than they used to. Retired people are hurting too. Investment portfolios have dropped dramatically over the last couple of years. This year, Social Security did not give people a cost of living adjustment, but their Medicare premiums went up. ForeclosureData.com shows 159 Shelton properties in the foreclosure process. A friend who was a banker before he lost his job tells me that the banks are so swamped with people who have stopped paying their mortgages that it's taking them 6 to 8 months to start the foreclosure process. There are a lot of people who are struggling to keep up with their bills. Some people feel Shelton is a wealthy community and can afford a tax increase. On our March 11th budget run, the income side showed $8.1 million of property taxes that were due by the end of January hadn't been paid. That's almost 9% of the total, more than 5 weeks after they were due. This is a clear sign people are struggling. When I talk with people who are involved in our public school system or read things they've posted online, they'll commonly point to the corporate world as justification for higher salaries and making sure central office looks professional. There's an old saying, be careful of what you wish for, because you might get it. In the corporate world, many people are losing their jobs. Some are accepting pay freezes, and some are voluntarily accepting reductions in pay to preserve jobs. Many corporate employees aren't making the big bucks salaries that you hear about in the news. The Board of Education shouldn't try to emulate corporations for pay and amenities. Their business is a valuable public service. The most obvious problem with the Board of Education budget is when the economy was strong, we negotiated a multi-year teachers contract that's simply not realistic under current economic conditions. Under the Board of Education's budget proposal, over 1/3 of teachers will make between $80,000 and $90,000 next year. Almost 25% will make over $90,000. That's considerably more than our average taxpayer makes. All told, over 57% of teachers will be making over $80,000, and that doesn't include the cost of benefits. It was negotiated in good faith. The Board of Education can't unilaterally impose a pay freeze or reduce the size of salary increases. Any changes in this respect would need to be voluntary. Another significant problem is state laws mandate wasteful spending, and the state systems for reimbursement just aren't fair. I've asked the Board of Education through faith for a list of laws they feel are wasting resources, and my hope is that we'll be able to get the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities involved in lobbying to get them fixed. This will not help with next year, but it could save us and other municipalities millions of dollars each year in the future. The good news is that the gap isn't as large as it was when we started, because the health insurance bids are in, and I understand costs will go up much less than was projected when the Board of Education had to prepare their budget. The Board of Education has also approved an incentive plan to encourage early retirement. Hopefully this will help with eliminating some of the layoffs. I'm confident the Board of Education will work harder than ever before to reduce expenses, but they do have accreditation coming up next year, and we all agree providing students with a strong education is an important investment in our future. The problem is some of our taxpayers can't afford to make additional investments. With that, we'll open it up to